everybody. We're here at Mercy College. Welcome to our first Facebook Live with our president and fearless leader, Timothy Hall. How are you?
I'm feeling pretty fearful right now because I'm looking right at a sign that says quiet zone.
Yes, we're in the library.
Are you sure we're not going to get booted out of here?
No, we got special permission.
Okay.
We got special permission to be there. Thank you all for joining us. We want to say hi to our students, faculty, staff, alums. If you're thinking about going to Mercy, you might want to, if you have any questions for President Hall, you can write them down. We're going to be taking questions. He is, by the way, so much more social media savvy, technologically savvy really, than any of the rest of us are. He informed me a few minutes ago that Facebook is actually for old people, which I hope you will disabuse him of that notion. But that's right, Facebook's for old people.
Yeah, I thought we were just going to be speaking to, 60 and 70-year-old alumni.
Okay, well, we are, by the way, speaking to my husband, hi, Bob, and Lee, right, your wife?
Lee is on watching, I hope.
Hi, Lee. Good to see you. All right, so tons of questions for you. Happy New Year.
Same to you. How is it going for you so far?
It's going great. I love the institution I work for.
I get better as soon as the students get back to campus.
Right,
it's kind of
I know
lonely during
that
the holiday break.
You miss them.
Yeah.
And my sources tell me, by the way, that you are down in this library a lot, just kind of walking around and seeing everybody.
Yeah, I try to eat lunch a couple of times a week here in the main hall cafeteria, and then I tend to walk down to the library and look a little at the students and say hello, and then look at the gorgeous athletic field in the Hudson River.
The Hudson River right behind us.
This wonderful view of.
It's nice in here, isn't it? And so just for a second, before I get into my prepared list of questions, you do like it when the students are back, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't imagine working at a place that didn't have students. I've been involved in colleges and universities now since 1989, and I would never go back to a life that didn't have students around regularly.
And ours are pretty special.
They absolutely are.
So, what's on your mind? We're heading into 2018. What you been thinking about?
Well, I spend a lot of time thinking. We're already underway for this semester, but I'm already thinking of next year. And what I tend to think a lot about is, are we student ready? A lot of colleges think most about whether students are college ready. I tend to think the opposite. I'm more concerned that we're ready for our students. We're ready to involve them, motivate them, respect them, care for them, mentor them. And so we spend a lot of time, and I've been thinking a lot about next year. Where are we? What are we doing that's going to help them succeed at this place?
And by succeed, we do a lot here to try to ensure retention, which is students staying with us from semester to semester all the way through to graduation and our graduation, right?
Oh, absolutely. It used to, a generation or so ago, a president or maybe a dean of a college would speak to students, and they would say, look to your left, look to your right. One of those people, right, either to your left or right, will not be here at the end of the year. And then they would invariably smile as if that were a good thing. And in their minds, it was a good thing. It showed that we were tough and we had high standards. Today, what we're really interested in is how do we create the circumstances for our students to succeed as they are capable of doing, for them to soar and to fly as they're capable of doing. So we realize that we have an important part. They, of course, have a huge part, but there are things that we can do as well.
And we're doing things both with respect to our curriculum and our academics, right?
Yes.
You have a whole mechanism called the Maverick Toolkit, which is working in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, I want us to be well known for how successful we're able to help our students be. So we've tried to sort of write the script out in advance to help people understand, help our students understand, help other colleges understand what we're doing to create the circumstances of success.
And we also have something that we call PACT, about which we are incredibly proud. And of course, if you go on the Mercy website, if you're looking at the school, you're going to see a lot about PACT. You want to tell people what it is?
Yeah, it's something that very few other institutions are doing. At most institutions, the main form of advising and counseling that students receive is through their faculty advisors, who provide excellent advice because they are very well of their fields. But the problem is they normally have to advise hundreds of students.
Right.
So here at Mercy College, our faculty do that kind of advice, but we've set up a whole separate group of people whose full-time job is to advise and mentor and assist our students in navigating the sometimes complicated avenues that it takes to get through college. So, for example, when I was in college and around the country, it's typical for you to be able to see an official advisor maybe a couple of times a year, mostly to get your fall schedule and get your spring schedule.
Right.
Here at Mercy, we actually keep track of how many intentional, meaningful contacts are occurring between our students and their packed advisors, and it's about 16 a semester. 16 times as many contacts as occur for many students.
So, we have a way that we use to describe it, which is that you essentially have your own personal wingman, or I guess it's wing person now, right?
Yes.
It would be wing person. And it's all 4 years of college who is helping you pick the right major, right?
Yeah, at the very beginning, they're helping you get into a major. They're helping you figure out how to register for your very first set of courses. They're helping you figure out how to get financial aid. As it goes along, though, they end up being they'll spend more time helping you figure out what's the pathway to graduation. What do you need to take for each of these years? And at the very end, and not even at the very end, because we're now trying to push this toward the beginning as well, they're talking with students about what you should be thinking about a career. How should you be planning for that? What are the things you need to do in your freshman year and your sophomore year, junior and senior year?
Career services, all the things that we're doing now to work with our students with an eye toward their success beyond our doors. That's become a huge endeavor across the country for colleges, right? And certainly for us as people look at, well, what's the value of coming here?
Yeah, absolutely. There isn't a college that doesn't try to think about how it helps its students get to their careers, and so there's typically some career office that provides support. Here at Mercy, we define success so as to include that. A career is not just this little added thing that maybe will help you a little bit on the very back end of your college stay. We know that's why most of our students are here.
Right.
They're looking for a pathway into a lifelong career. So we're trying to pull that front and center. We're trying to include it in classroom activities, in the curriculum that our students are seeing, and then in the kinds of services and experiences we try to get to. I think we've got a long way to go here, and we're going to do much more as we go forward. But right now, when we define success, we define it to include that career transition.
That's right. I know we're going to have some cool announcements like that, but I won't do any spoilers right now, but I know we're going to have some cool announcements about career success. Okay, so I want to remind everybody, write in your questions if you have a question for us. If you want to know anything from Tim, I do want to, we've had all of our alums when they come to campus, they all remark about, wow, does it look different? Wow, have you come a long way, baby? And so I wonder if you would like to tick off some of the new things. The first of which would be this gorgeous library we're sitting in, but that's actually not as new as you'd think. But what are some of the new facilities that we have here at Mercy?
Yeah, we're trying to make ourselves current, make ourselves vibrant and new in our facilities at each of our campuses. So if you've been walking around, or were you to come back to Mercy College right now at our Dobbs Ferry campus, you would see this gorgeous library that's been here a while, but right out in front of it, we're building hillside seating in front of our athletic field. If you go down to the end of this building, you'll discover that we have a whole new health science wing. that's for our health sciences, and it's got things like these hugely expensive simulated patients that talk to students.
Right,
And,
that is amazing, the simulation lab.
oh yeah, we have a sim patient who gives birth down to the placenta. It's, I mean, it's impressive what we're doing there. And so that we made out of our old gymnasium. So this year we are refurbishing the Victory Hall Gymnasium, so it will become our new main gymnasium with double the seating for it. Our old gymnasium used to be our strategy for slowing students down who were running on a full court press was to put a pad against the wall that they could bounce off. We think there are better strategies than that, so the new gymnasium will be longer regulation size so that they can run at full speed and not hit the wall. And there'll be many more spaces for our students to sit. Right now, many of our students have to stand up during our games because there's not enough seats for them, and they stand patiently waiting for somebody to leave so they can get in. So that's going on right now. We're going to create some new interview spaces here because careers are going to be much more important, and so we need spaces for employees to get to the campus and be able to interview our students. The same things are happening at our other campuses. At the Bronx, we've created a new student center, a new veteran center. We've kind of spiced up the general area that you arrive in.
We're a yellow ribbon school.
Yes, absolutely. And our military students are very happy with the new Veteran Student Center that we have there. At Manhattan, we have created a new space for students to hang out in. We're working hard on a plan to get a better entrance, possibly on a different side of that campus, but definitely make it a nicer and a more vibrant entrance point to the college. So lots of things happening. I used to say in Tennessee, which is a more southern kind of place, if you're not digging, you're dying. So we're digging all around these days.
A lot of digging. And there's the trading room, which is amazing.
Oh, absolutely. I don't even understand that, but it is impressive looking.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, Bloomberg terminals, some of our students actually make investment choices for part of the college endowment. Do I have that right?
Yeah, the business school has taken on a small piece of our endowment, and the students use that piece to learn how to invest real money.
Right, and by the way, while we're talking about business, our graduate business program, which I was down in the executive dean of the program is Ray Manganelli, and I was down in his office recently and I saw a plaque that said, Crane's Business, one of the fastest growing MBA programs in the New York area. There's been an explosion in that program.
Oh, absolutely. One of the reasons it's exploding is they've created, we call it the Turbo MBA, which is the possibility of going through that whole program in 1 year. Now, you have to work yourself silly to do that, and it begins with a full month of classes, which we just give away to those students, and they...
At no cost.
At no cost, right. They take that, and that kind of catches up students maybe who didn't have a business background, so that they're ready to spend the rest of the year getting through the MBA. And that's been one of our fastest growing graduate programs, absolutely.
And the other thing to mention about that is that if you're a working stiff, like most of us are, that's a program you can do at night and on weekends.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. That's when most of it's happening. There's a huge
amount of flexibility built into it.
And we've added, that program was so successful in Manhattan that now we're offering at the Dobbs Ferry campus, and we're offering it in the Bronx, where we have one of our biggest classes of students there in the Bronx at our campus there at off the Hutchinson Parkway.
Mm-hmm. So we have a ton of information on the website about the Turbo MBA if you're interested, about all these programs really. And it should be pointed out that we have made all of these upgrades to the facilities you've talked about, the Center for Academic Excellence. We have a new residence hall. We didn't even mention that. Hudson Hall.
To mention that, yes.
We have a whole new residence hall,
Not only
right?
350 new beds in Hudson Hall, and a new athletic facility, a new fitness center, and a new Starbucks, which I frequent. I had for the very first time this week. Never had this before, but at a board meeting yesterday, and I was feeling a little, the down that comes after an important event. So I went to the Starbucks, and I had for the first time in my life, a caramel macchiato.
Oof, love.
I'm sure there were 1,000 calories in it, and I'm sure my wife is going to beat me up when I get home, but it was pretty fine.
Lee, don't beat them up. I've had them too. They're fabulous. And we've done all these things while keeping our tuition low in an environment that's very competitive. And I know you are very proud of this. A lot of people make assumptions that if we're a private college, that if it's a private college, you're not going to be able to, for instance, get your tuition fully funded. But we go above and beyond to help students finance a fine education at Mercy College.
That is a huge priority on our part. We keep track of what's going on around us, and would you believe, around us for private colleges, most colleges are increasing their tuition by 3 to 5% every single year, 3 to 5%. At Mercy College, I've now been here for almost 4 years, but even say 4 or 5 years before that, it's been since 2008 that we have not had any tuition increase over 2%, and that was only one time. So we are fighting and scrapping to make sure that we're providing a quality education, but not driving students away because they can't afford it. So right now, I don't know that people understand that we provide every year $31 million of scholarship and grant support to our students.
Wow.
And 17 million of that is need-based aid that has nothing to do with academic requirements or any of that. It's just about what do you need, what's your family income, how can we help you to close the gap, so that even our very modest tuition by private terms is very accessible for our students. We have probably 25% of our students end up not paying any tuition because their income allows them to receive the federal Pell Grant,
right,
and then the state TAP grant for New York residents, and then Mercy provides more than either one of those two grants with our own assistance. So it ought to be possible for every single person not to have to choose to go to a large institution where they're going to sit in huge lecture halls, but to come to a private college where they get individual support and it is fully covered.
Right. Fully covered. You hear those words, by the way? Fully covered. We have our Mercy Scholars Program, right?
Yeah, we have some donors who are really interested in making sure that students don't graduate without any tuition or textbook related debt. And so they put together a scholarship program, and we have about 20 or 25 students each year now for the last couple of years that we cover. After they get the federal Pell Grant and the state grant, we cover all the rest of the tuition and money for books as well.
And then we have a new scholarship called the Aspire Scholarship, right?
Right. So I'm sure folks are familiar with the fact that New York has started a free college program.
Right.
Now, even after they give some money, it's not really free, but they're covering a lot of tuition for many students. There are some important strings, right? That to get that money, you have to go and take 30 hours every single year, and if you don't, the money turns into a loan that you've got to pay back, and you've got to agree to live in New York and work in New York.
Right, to stay in New York afterwards.
So
right.
we thought that concept was a good one. We're trying to reach the same students that the Excelsior Scholarship, that's New York's free public college, is for, but we're going to offer it to the same students, but without those strings attached. So you don't lose it if you don't get 30 hours in a particular year, and you don't lose it and have to pay it back if you find a job in someplace other than New York, or you live in
right.
New Jersey or Connecticut right now.
So again, you can find out more information about all of that on the website. Go to the admissions part of the website, all that scholarship, the loans, grants, institutional that we give. I'm really impressed with the institutional aid that we provide for students, because institutional aid is money they don't have to pay back. We go above and beyond, really, what TAP and Pell give you, right?
No, absolutely. And it's sort of based upon if people have filed the FAFSA before,
right,
they're probably familiar with the notion that the federal government keeps track of estimated family contribution.
Right.
And the lower your income, the less estimated family contribution you're going to be expected to make, so that some students, in fact, their families are not expected to make any contribution because their income is not very high. For those students, we call it the zero estimated family contribution. At our Bronx campus and our Manhattan campus and our Yorktown campus, we are covering all of the tuition that the federal Pell Grant and the state TAP grant don't cover. So those students end up not paying any tuition.
And that's called the Unstoppable Scholarship,
yes,
right?
It is.
Okay,
it is.
Good.
And even for students who are not at the Bronx or at the Manhattan campus, for students who have this zero EFC, that their families are not expected to contribute anything, we're able to reduce the tuition bill so it is about $1,000 a year.
Okay. Even with that, there are a lot of education writers out there in the op-ed columns, in the education journals, who question whether you should get a college degree right now. And I know, again, you have strong feelings about that.
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
One of my strongest feelings is anytime I read that. Sometimes you'll hear politicians say this, or you'll see some newspaper writers say this, and the first thing I want to go ask them, I said, is that what you're telling your kids?
Yeah.
Are you telling your children that it's better for them not to go to college? And I'm almost certain that all of these people who will sometimes say, oh, college is not for everyone, they don't think that about their children. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's fundamentally probably a sham. And I know the numbers say today that some amount of college education inevitably produces greater income potential, produces greater health. You live longer, you're healthier. So why would anyone say that we don't need a college education? There are people, of course, who are not going to go to college, and they're going to be wonderful neighbors and citizens, and they're going to have fulfilling lives. But for the students who have the capacity and are prepared to put in the time to do it, I can promise you, for my kids, I would never say, oh, you don't need to go to college.
Exactly.
All those jobs that used to exist where people not to go to college and go straight out to a job, those jobs don't exist the way they used to, where you could go get a job and buy a house and send your children to college in later years. Those kind of jobs now require college education.
And what we are doing is including sort of across our curriculum a focus on career preparedness in addition to the high academics, right? So that we do give a nod to, okay, we know you have to have certain skills that are not strictly speaking academic skills, but are, they're sometimes called soft skills, just basic communication skills. So we're building that into all of our classes.
Yeah, we are, and the fundamental fact is this: the future belongs to the learners. The future belongs to the learners. People who cannot adapt in this quick changing world, who can't learn something new tomorrow, are not going to thrive tomorrow, because the world is changing quickly. So we have all sorts of majors and subjects, and those are very, very important. But fundamentally, the thing that college is about, and why I would never dream of telling my children don't go to college, is college is where you learn to learn. That's the thing, you learn to learn. And we focus on that. And people who fail to be able to learn are people that tend not to thrive.
And that carries them into any job, and they might have 6 or 8 or 10 or 20 of them over the course of their professional
absolutely.
lives, right? I mean,
People
it's not
change
like
jobs constantly.
you're not working at a bank for 40 years anymore, doing one thing. You have to be able to adapt.
Yeah, I quote all the time Emerson, who said, the things taught in colleges and universities are not an education, but a means to an education.
Right.
We're trying to produce citizens, neighbors, heads of families, leaders in their communities who will be able across a long lifetime to educate themselves. Because no matter how fine a Mercy education is, and I think it's very fine, it's not enough. You have to continue to educate yourself, and if you don't, you won't flourish.
Right. I want to talk a minute about our very special bond with our alums. I have a relationship of sorts with my alma mater. I'm very proud I went there. I go to the Christmas party every year, right? Our alums, and I just met two of them yesterday. I just interviewed two. They're not just, yeah, I went to Mercy. They love Mercy. They are passionate about Mercy, and they talk about how it transformed their lives. And I know, by the way, how corny that sounds. And yet, I have yet to meet an alum who doesn't just wax poetic about the difference we made in their lives. That's really special.
Yeah, this is one of the great things about being a president is you get to go meet not only our students, so I get to wander around the library or the cafeteria or the athletic field and meet our students, but I meet our alums. And what I repeatedly hear from our alums is not, oh, I had a good time at Mercy, I threw some Frisbees. It's not that. What I hear is, Mercy changed my life. Mercy gave me a chance when I couldn't find it any other place, and this is what's happened to me. So I meet this commencement season, we're splitting into 4 different commencement sessions, one for each of our colleges. And so
more people can get in.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
Yeah, more students can bring more of their family and friends. But so I'm involved in helping to arrange the commencement speakers, and one that I'm very proud of because I've gotten to know him is John Thompson, who graduated from Mercy College many years ago. He's now on our board. He's retired now, but before he retired, he was a vice president at Best Buy. So if you ever bought anything online from Best Buy, that was his creation, is the online. And so he's going to be talking to our Mercy students, and I know what he'll say is, this changed my life. This wasn't just a place where I grew up for 4 years. This was a place where the trajectory of my life changed.
John's a first generation student, I think
so.
Right?
I think so. And I just met a very highly placed woman at J.P. Morgan, who graduated from Mercy College. She was a single mom, and she came to Mercy College, and she says, when I sat down with her for the first time and visited with her about her experience, she said, Mercy gave me everything. Mercy changed my life. I hear that all the time.
Yeah, and especially, I think, from our first-gen students and or low-income students who just learned everything about just being in the world with a college education and getting those first jobs and then getting that next job. And I actually, there was a man who was on our board who said to me, my Mercy professor taught me how to tie a tie. I'd never really tied a tie before I came here and then was headed out to job interviews. Yeah. And that made a huge difference.
Surprise me.
You know?
That doesn't surprise me. This is the place right now. Every year we have an event where we've arranged to buy suits from, I think Lord & Taylor gives us a great deal on some suits, and we get 40 suits, and we sort of, students have a chance to get one of those suits at this event.
I love that about Mercy.
Yeah.
I love that. So people often ask us about giving and why it's important to give to a college. Why is it important for those who want to give, and we hope you do want to give at some point, if you're a Mercy alum, if you're a Mercy student, if you're a Mercy faculty member, we hope that you'll support us financially. And why is that important?
You know, it's important for different reasons to different people. Sometimes for our alumni, it's important because it's a way of paying it forward, of taking the advantages that they received because they became a Mercy alum, because they graduated from this institution, and trying to pay that to somebody else who might have that opportunity. Many of the people who support Mercy College, though, are not even alums of Mercy, and that's kind of extraordinary. Normally, the folks to give to a college are always your alumni who are most personally invested. But we have many supporters of this college who are supporting it because it believes in what we're doing. It believes that college ought to be available and affordable for more people than it currently is. And so they're willing to put their life and their resources behind the support of a place that's doing that kind of work with students.
Because we're a mission-driven institution.
We are,
and it feels
yes.
nice to support that mission, to support students who are hungry enough to earn a better place in life with their Mercy degrees.
Yeah, and we see it every day. I've gotten to know this semester a guy who's a student here, and he also works at the new IPIC theater. So my wife and I go see a fair amount of movies, and so I see him. I see how hard he is working at that theater, and he's kind of rising up in the ranks. Now he's a manager, and he has this headphone, and he looks looks like a Secret Service agent. But he is also a student at Mercy College. That is very, very like our Mercy students. They are charging full steam ahead. They're working quite frequently to help them get through college. So I love the fact that you don't see too many Frisbees at Mercy College, but you see a lot of students who are changing the arc of their lives.
Absolutely. So before we wrap up, and by the way, if you have any specific questions about some of the things you've heard about financial aid, our programs, our MBA program, any sort of admissions questions, send them in. We'll make sure they get to the right people. You got any New Year's resolutions?
You know, I'm not terribly big on New Year's resolutions because I need resolutions to happen faster. So I normally have daily resolutions, but I do have a couple of New Year's resolutions. One is to walk more. I try to start most mornings at 6:30 by walking to Irvington and back on the old Croton Aqueduct. I promise you it's very cold right now, and I'm getting used to that. And then the other resolution is I've resolved, do you know the site Goodreads, which is kind of a social media reader site?
Sure.
So they help you kind of tabulate your progress at reading. So my goal this year is to read 50 books. Okay.
Now, you can find him on social media, by the way, more than you can ever find me on social media. You can find him on Facebook or through Mercy's Facebook. Or what's your Twitter handle? You want to put it out there? Just, you know.
I think it's Timothy L. Hall.
Yeah. Okay.
Once you get it set up, I forget what it was.
Yeah.
So that's
okay.
That's where
All right.
I am.
Timothy L. Hall.
And I'm on Goodreads too. So.
Okay. And we have a Twitter handle for this conversation. And thanks for being with us. This is really fun. We're gonna try to make this the first of.
Is our time already up?
Can you believe it? And by the way, look at the
fast.
fancy. So he's got the Apple Watch. Okay. Now, why do you like the Apple Watch again?
Because I like to be able to know when people are trying to talk with me, and so in a long, boring meeting, I can just kind of tap
scroll
it and
through your
take
emails
a quick look, and my wife can message me. Yeah,
okay,
she
did
just
she
messaged
message
me.
you?
Yeah.
She did?
I don't know what that's about, but it's
Okay.
there.
All right. Well, I'll let you go look at that because we're going to let everybody go.
All
Okay.
right.
Thank you so much from all of us here at Mercy College. Have a great weekend.